For some of you, the issue is not that you don't make enough money. Let me repeat that. It's not that you don't make enough money, because it's not always about earning more. Sometimes it's about knowing exactly where your money is leaking. Because contrary to what some people might think, the big bills aren't always the villain. Sometimes it's those small, quiet habits that you never question. And I'm talking about those small, every now and then expenses that feel harmless, yet they hit your wallet every single time. So if you're really serious about lowering your cost of living, here are a few things that you might need to stop buying, or at the very least, scale back on. And we're gonna start with something that we don't talk about enough, which is extracurriculars. I saw a video not too long ago of this lady explaining how her family lives paycheck to paycheck, they have nothing in savings, and they have very little left over at the end of the month. And then she proceeds to break down some of her family's monthly expenses, and I kid you not, each of her kids were in like 2 or 3 different activities. And these were activities that they were paying for out of pocket. So they weren't through the school. And on top of that, she had a couple of extra things for herself that she was paying monthly. And listen, I really do try not to judge because you gotta live. But let's be for real. Activities are great. No one is denying that, and everyone needs an outlet. But if your family's finances are hanging by a thread, you have debt, you have nothing to put away, you really have to get honest about what's necessary and what's nice to have. And you don't have to strip everything down to nothing. I never said that, don't put words in my mouth. But instead of 2 or 3 activities per person, why not just 1 activity per person? I've said this countless times before. Moderation is your best friend, especially when you're trying to get ahead financially. And at the end of the day, it's really a win-win. Everyone has an activity that they can look forward to, and your family gets a little breathing room in the budget. Now let's talk about travel. And I know some of y'all aren't ready to hear this, but you need to hear it. I am all for experiences, and I preach experiences over things all the time. But some of you guys are taking that advice and running wild with it. Experiences over things does not mean taking 6 vacations a year while you have nothing in savings. It does not mean flying out every other month, putting it on a credit card, and then carrying that balance. And if we're keeping it really real, you do not have to be across the country or across an ocean to create memories. You could explore a nearby small town, visit a state park, go to a local festival or a free museum day, or just plan a weekend staycation and actually rest. The whole notion behind that idea is to collect moments and focus less on stuff that you probably don't need and you'll probably forget about. It's not faking luxury or living so elaborately while your finances fall apart behind the scenes. So pull up your past 12 statements, look at your travel spending, and be honest. Are you doing too much? And if so, scale back, save the difference, and thank yourself next year when your money's right. You can also lower your cost of living by cooking more at home, because ordering out 2, 3, and 4 times a week can add up faster than you realize. So one of the easiest ways to lower your cost of living without really changing your income is simply to cook more at home using actual ingredients. You don't have to be a chef, and you don't even have to cook every single day. So there's 2 things that you can do here. You can pick one day where you bulk cook for the next 5 to 7 days, and then at the beginning of every month, cook 2 or 3 extra meals and then freeze them for those nights that you're tired and you don't feel like getting in the kitchen. And one thing I started doing recently that's been working out well is simply using chat to plan meals based on what I already have. You can also lower your cost of living by watching out for those just in case and it's only buys. These little 2 phrases, I might need it just in case, and it's only $5. Yeah, they sound really harmless, but they are sneaky expensive. So if you catch yourself saying any variation of those phrases when you are out, that is your cue to pick up that item and put it back. Because just in case typically means that you do not have a real plan to use it. And those if onlys can turn into $5 here, $12 there, $7 next week. And before you know it, you're sitting there scratching your head wondering where that extra $300 went this month. And while we're on the subject, you have to start tracking the small stuff. Because again, it's not always the big bills that drain your account. Often it's the little things that you pick up and purchase without even thinking about. It only takes roughly $27.40 of mindless spending to blow $10,000 a year. And if you want to know what that looks like, it can easily be a coffee in the morning, a sandwich at lunch, chips at a convenience store, a candy bar at checkout. And if you honestly don't think that you're spending that much on mindless purchases throughout the month, go and grab your credit card statements, grab your bank account statements, and go through and really just add up all the fast food purchases, all the convenience store purchases. I've done this a few times over the years, and this one particular time, I went into it honestly thinking that I was only spending like maybe $40 a month on junk. But no, it was actually 3 times that amount, $120 just on mindless stuff. And a lot of it, I couldn't even recall. It was just little things here and there that I was just picking up and not even thinking about. That is how our money disappears. But on the plus side, micro spends are one of the easiest things to cut without feeling deprived. So seriously start tracking them, because it's only once you know where your money's actually leaking that you can realistically plug the hole.